everybody, it's Miss Amy at the Grass Valley Library. Thanks for joining me this morning for a special outside edition of Random Acts of Science. Today we're going to be making a solar oven and we're going to get to eat and cook some s'mores in it. So I hope you stick around and watch through this whole video. If you haven't picked up a bag yet at the Grass Valley Library, you can do that. On the outside of that is a QR code. You can scan it and come back to this video anytime you want to view it if you need a little bit of help remembering what comes next. Inside the bag, you're going to find a set of instructions on how to do this experiment. On the back side, there's some other scientific information that you might be interested in, as well as a picture of the final product. And that can come in handy as well. You're going to find a pizza box, a piece of black construction paper, a skewer, a wooden dowel. Each of you are going to also receive some aluminum foil and a whole lot of things here. Some marshmallows and some fudge striped cookies that contain both chocolate and graham crackers, so you save a step with this process. So let's go ahead and find out how to make this thing and get started. You're going to need a couple other things from home too. You're going to need some scissors, some tape, some saran wrap, the clear stuff, not the press and seal. That one's kind of too cloudy to let the sun through. So, and probably a couple other things here as we go. So the first step is to put that pizza box together, and that's actually one of the trickier parts of the whole experiment, I found. So decide which is the top and which is the bottom, and you'll kind of figure it out as you start to put it together. I decided that the part with the tabs on it was going to be the top for me. So once you figure that out, you are going to cut a flap inside of the box on 3 sides so that when that lifts up, there'll be a window into the rest of the box below. So come in about 1 inch on all 3 sides. I used an X-Acto knife. You could have an adult help you. You could try to do it with a pair of scissors, but you're going to need to leave the flap there and then have a pretty clean cut around the rest of it. So that is step 1. Step 2 is filling the inside of the box with aluminum foil. So hopefully you've got enough in what I gave you to line the inside of that box. Come up and around the sides as well if you can. And then you're also going to line the inside of the flap of the box. And that's going to help reflect sunlight down into the box itself. And the third step is to put some black construction paper in the bottom of the box inside. That's going to be your cooking surface. And the last step is to make a window into the oven. So when you cut that flap out, there is a window that leaves a hole below it, and you're going to cover that with saran wrap and tape it either underneath or tape it on top. It doesn't matter which way you do that, but we just want to make a window into that so that the inside of that box is sealed up nice and tight and it keeps that heat inside. You're also going to use that dowel to help you prop up the inside flap of that box when you're all done with it. So let's talk about how this box works. This is my final product. Like I said, I broke my dowel in half, and then I'm using that to prop up the top. You might find that once you get this thing outside on a sunny day and you're facing that sunlight, maybe you need that way up here to catch the sunlight. Maybe it needs to be way down here. Depends on the time of day and where you are. So that's what this is for. You can adjust it as needed. So once I'm all set, I'm going to take one of the cookies and set it on my cooking surface here, and also one of my marshmallows, and set it on top of that, and probably another cookie on the top of that. And we're going to see how this oven works. So how can a pizza box and some tin foil cook something? That's a great question. So there's 3 ways that we are capturing the heat of the sun and making it hot enough inside the box to cook a s'more or anything else you want to try cooking with this thing. So the first way is with the tin foil. We're using the reflection of the tin foil to reflect the sun's rays deeper into the box. And when that happens, that heat is coming in there as well, and it's kind of bouncing around and building up inside of the box. The second step is the black cooking surface. As we know, black paper absorbs heat and traps it inside and radiates it back out. So that's another way that we're capturing the sun's heat and using it to cook. And the last way is this thin film that we're putting on top of that window. And it's much like in your house, when the sun hits the windows, the heat comes in, the sunlight comes in, but also the heat comes in, right? And then it heats up the inside of your house because it can't get back outside again. It can't go the other way through the glass necessarily. So it gets trapped inside. So it's much like a greenhouse. And that's what we did here, is we put that little film over the top and we create a little greenhouse there. And that is going to help trap that heat inside until it builds up and builds up. So go ahead and give it a try. It might take a half an hour or more depending on the temperature and how sunny it is and what your conditions are, but best of luck. Thanks for joining me this week for Random Acts of Science, and bon appetit.